Hello everyone, and thanks for taking the time to review the Los Gatos real estate market analysis for June 2008. My name is Robert Whitelaw, and I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of California. I'm also a member of the National Association of Realtors and a certified ePro. And as of this month, I am also the president and CEO of Whitelaw & Sons Real Estate Services. I'm going to be serving all of Silicon Valley. You can find my website at www.wnsons.com. And this real estate brokerage is going to be full service, so it'll handle any of your real estate needs. But also we're going to be focused more on the things that matter most to clients. And I realize that just about every business out there says that whatever their clients are, they focus more on their needs. But I like to think it's a little different. I'm taking it in a direction that's very different from other real estate brokerages, where they tell you that the things that are most important about how an agent serves you are related to the volume of homes they sell and the dollar amount of homes they sell in a year. When I think what clients are really interested in is agents who sell the homes that they list. In other words, if your home gets listed, what are the chances your home is actually going to sell? There are plenty of top agents out there who only sell 30 to 40% of the homes they actually list. The way I gauge my agents and the performance of my firm will be based entirely on that kind of a number. If we list your home, we sell it. How close do we sell it to your asking price? And finally, how quickly do we sell it? Our goal is always to beat what the average is in your local market. And what's great about this new way of looking at an agency is I'm also going to be linking how agents get compensated on these numbers. So their motivations will always be clear, because they do better, they make more if they cater to your specific needs. So I think that makes us a little bit unique, and I appreciate you listening to me give myself a little pitch here for my new business. Now, one more thing I wanted to share with you this month is sort of as a celebration of the new business opening up, I wanted to offer a 25% buyer rebate. Now, this is going to be a limited time offer. It's going to expire on August 31st, 2008. Now, the good news is you don't have to actually buy before August 31st, 2008. You just have to contact me and reserve your 25% rebate. Contact me for all the full details. A 25% rebate basically means that whatever the stated commission is on a home that's supposed to go to the buyer's agent, I will rebate 25% of that amount back to you in the escrow. So that makes an excellent opportunity for buyers who need a little extra help on making the different recurring and non-recurring costs in the transaction. It's a great deal for buyers, and I hope you all pass the word and get as many people involved in taking advantage of that offer as possible. Now, moving right on to what we normally talk about here, the supply and demand numbers for Los Gatos for June of 2008. And we're going to start with the inventory numbers. Now, we can see we've got a pretty big increase in inventory. Same, on par with the inventory increase we saw last month, frankly, as far as comparing to the previous year. Now, remember, we're just looking at the month of June going back to 1999. When we were looking at May last month, we saw really the same sort of increase. So the down market in the county in general has sort of caught up with Los Gatos, at least in terms of inventory is concerned. Inventory is up 41.6%. We have 47 more homes on the market this year in June than we did last year in June, for a grand total of 160 homes currently on the market. Now, if we look at new listings, these are homes that were listed in the month of June. We can see we've got a bit of an increase from previous Junes. And actually, numerically, that's up 26.4%. So 14 more homes were added to the market in June of 2008 than were added in June of 2007, for a total of homes listed in the month of 67. Now, next, and this number is one that's a little bit more concerning, but we're not seeing enough of a change here. Now, remember, we deal with smaller numbers in the months, simply because we're talking about Los Gatos. We're not talking about the thousands of homes that are involved in the equations for the whole county. So while it may sound a bit dramatic to say sales are down 10.3%, that really just equates to selling 4 less homes in the month of June of 2008 than we did in the month of June of 2007. That gave us a total homes sold of 35. So when you do the math, now here's where it gets important. As we've talked about in past months, what's more important is the relationship of the homes you sell to your total inventory, and we haven't really seen a change there. Now, last month, we had about 4.5 months worth of inventory on the market if in the month of May inventory and sales numbers were to freeze. If we did the same thing this month, if inventory and sales numbers were to freeze right now, we'd have about 4.6 months of inventory. So nothing to get, I think, too excited about. It's relatively flat, particularly when compare, and you'll see what I'm talking about, particularly when you see the month-to-month data. But as far as changes, the real big story to take home, I think, from this slide is just we've really seen an increase in inventory. That's the number where we've actually seen what is something that folks might want to get a little bit more focused on. Now let's go ahead and look at the same numbers, but just going back to April of 2007. As usual, we'll start with the inventory numbers, and you can see now this is where we want to look at trends. We want to see what has come before, and then compare that to the same time last year. So if we look at April, May, and June, we can see that in April, May, and June, we had a little fluctuation. We actually had an inventory increase from April to May, which we didn't get. From April to May, we got an inventory decrease, which is different from last year and actually better news than last year. And then from May to June of last year, we had another decrease in inventory. That's actually something that you'd expect because as the selling season moves on, we tend to get a little bit more of our inventory reduced as homes sell. As you saw this month, we had a bit of a dip in sales numbers this particular month. So we are seeing that affected here. We're still seeing a bit of a dip from May to June. The numbers are down, but that is literally one home. That's the difference of one home in the inventory. And that's actually something that's interesting about this month compared to May all the way around. It's one home different. So inventory is down 0.6, which is just a one home difference from the month previous. Homes listed down 1.5%. Again, that's just one home different from last month. And total sales, while it says it's down 2.8% from last month, that's just one home difference. So we're really seeing a very, very flat performance when compared to last month. Virtually identical. Sort of frozen there a little bit for 60 days. What'll be interesting to do is see from this point where we've actually had sort of a net drop in inventory since April, where will we go in July? I think I'm seeing quite a bit of activity out there in the market, so I'm anticipating a fairly good July for Los Gatos when it comes to things like inventory and homes sold, but we'll see how that pans out. Now let's go ahead and take a look at home prices. Again, this is another area where Los Gatos is continuing to perform well. We're seeing a good increase here. Average home prices are actually up 7.5% from the same time last year. So June to June, June 2007, June to 2008, an increase of 7.5%. In dollar amounts for the average home, that's an increase of $117,477. That's very substantial. There's a lot of room to absorb any other down market conditions that might be floating around before I think sellers are really going to feel that pinch. Now, the average home sales price was $1,680,028. The median changed by 11.5%. The median went up as well. That's always a good sign when you can see that the distribution of the homes that are selling are as close as possible to the average sales price. That kind of indicates that it's more of a true average, meaning that half the homes above that point are selling, and the other half are selling below that point. So you can see we have a little bit more of an emphasis on homes selling below the average sales price, but still those two numbers are close enough to be okay. Now, the median home price was $1,450,000. That was actually up 11.5%. Now, the highest priced single-family residence home in Los Gatos was on Sierra Azul. It sold for $4,250,000. It listed originally for $4,999,888, and it was on the market for 240 days. So it took a pretty substantial price drop for that home to finally sell. Frankly, that is a home that I had seen. It needed the price drop. I'm glad those folks got that property sold. I think they could have sold it quite a bit quicker, and perhaps even for it would have been more convenient for the sellers if it had been priced right to begin with. Now, the lowest priced home was on Locust Drive in Los Gatos. That home sold for $370,000, down from $418,000, and that home sold in 96 days. Now, the average price per square foot in Los Gatos and all the homes that sold was $675.18. Last month, that amount was $670.82. So we've actually, on the average home that sold, we actually have seen an increase also in the price per square foot. And the average days on market was 82 days. Now, let's go ahead and look at home prices here just in the past months. Do we see any substantial trends here? Well, you know, a lot of strange fluctuation, but remember, with the smaller numbers, these numbers can get thrown off. What you want to look for here is more general trends. It all seems across the year here relatively. We've obviously, between this exact same time and last year, we saw a bit of a dip. I'm a little surprised that we saw a dip as much as we did in May. We usually see a dip, but it was a little bit more substantial. If you look at April, May, June last year, there was a steady decline all the way into June, and then we started to see things increase as we went into July and August. I would have expected probably similar performance, but we've just seen a lot more variability there. But also remember that as we enter this time of year, we're going to see some interesting numbers. That we usually see the days on market increase, for instance, because as we get into the market when the buyers tend to come out, homes that have been on the market for an extremely long time will sell, which doesn't really tell us anything about the true days on market. It just tells us that there is more sales going on, and then homes that have been on the market for a long time are being swept up in that. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look, and then again, there's the median price. You can see the median price is again even up from last month. Now, if we look at just days to sell, we can see that we're at a very high number here. Now, I don't want anyone to panic about this because I'm going to explain why this is the way it is here in a second. The lowest days on market we had, this is just to sort of give you the spread, lowest days on market was 0. Now, to understand a 0 amount, you have to understand that this is something that's fairly unique to Los Gatos and other very robust markets. Homes sell before they ever even get on the multiple listing service. Oftentimes, there will be a delay of a week or 2 weeks. It depends on the company, but oftentimes a home won't go on the MLS the same day it actually gets listed. It'll get shown to clients within a specific office, or it'll get shown through the broker's tour, which often will happen before it gets fully listed on the MLS, or at least the office tour often does. And you will often find that in a market as robust as Los Gatos, these homes just sell immediately. And that happened in this case with 4 homes that sold in June. 4 homes sold with 0 days. Never. They were only put on the MLS simply for the ability to compare values. Now and the longest days on the market. So that's explaining the 0 days. The longest days on market was 981 days. Now that is why I don't want you to be concerned about this 72 days on market that's being reported for June of 2008. Now let's go ahead and look a little bit more closely at the breakdown of homes. Now, so homes that sold before the MLS even got a hold of them, 4. The homes on the market that were up for 1 to 7 days, 3 properties. Homes on the market for 8 to 30 days, 13. Homes on the market for 31 to 90 days, 7. Homes on the market 90 or more days, 8. Now, 57% of the homes sold in 30 days or less in Los Gatos. And the average days on market for the actives was 82. Now, here's what I want you to understand from this. If we took into consideration the fact that there was one property that just had this insane number of days on market, if we eliminated that property from the calculation, we would end up with 45 days average on the market time, average days on market. That's far more realistic, far more in line with what we've been seeing, and frankly, way more a far more normal expectation, I think, of folks living in Los Gatos. If you're someone pretty much generally in Los Gatos and you're thinking about selling your home, that 72-day time is ridiculous. The real number is 45. Now, if we compare last month to this month, again, 45 is a fairly in line with what we saw last month. Now, if you went with the number and included every single home, the average days on market would be up 75.6%, or an increase of 31 days. What I'm going to tell you here is don't worry about that. In fact, what you will probably see is in other venues, whether it's newspapers or wherever else, they're going to give you that 72-day number, and they're not going to explain it. A lot of folks don't look any deeper into the numbers to try and explain why these things happen. So don't let that number panic you. You're going to hear it elsewhere. It's not a real number. It's one home that was overpriced that ended up staying on the market for an unbelievably long period of time. So in reality, the average increase has only been an increase of 4 days from last month. So Just a little inside scoop there for you for the market in Los Gatos. Now, I appreciate you all taking the time to review my market analyses in these various communities. If you'd like to get in touch with me, if you'd like to read any of my other articles, or if you'd like to look at my other market analysis presentations, or listen to my weekly podcast, you can find those at my website at www.soldbyrobert.com. If you'd like to email me with any ideas, suggestions, observations, or suggestions, anything at all, please feel free to email me at robert@soldbyrobert.com. If you'd like to give me a phone call and discuss your local market or any of your needs in real estate, please give me a call at 408-852-0525. And if you are a more online type person and you use AOL Instant Messenger, Google Talk, or Yahoo Instant Messenger, my screen ID is The Rebel Broker. If you use Skype, just enter Rebel Broker and that'll find me. And of course, as always, referrals are appreciated. Make sure to tell your friends and family about the 25% buyer's rebate. Remember, that expires August 31st of next month. I appreciate your attention, and I look forward to talking to you all next time.